Hey everyone, welcome back. So I've had the ROG Ally for a few days now and I'm testing it out, putting a lot of hours into Marvel Rivals. I'm going to go through the settings and talk about some of the features the ROG Ally has, and hopefully I'm not going to ramble too much, but kind of want to just go through things. I'm trying to take this channel as like from a standpoint of console gamers that have never gotten into handheld gaming or PC gaming or things like that. So I'm not an expert on any of this stuff by any means, but I'm going to take you through my experiences and the settings I'm using and kind of like what it looks like and how it feels, uh, and why I'm doing certain things that I am doing on here. So when you are checking out the video, there is for this game specifically, there's an in-game tracker for the FPS that's over here, and then up at the top bar up here, you can see more of the detailed things. This is the AMD Software's tracker up there at the top. So I'm going to zoom in and hopefully get you guys a better view. And you can kind of see how the system plays. It's awesome. So the ROG Ally X is a new iteration on the previous ROG Ally white version. This one's black version. And it also has, and it's on the same screen, 120 FPS screen, LCD, but it has variable refresh rate, which makes for some really smooth gameplay. Right now, I have this game particularly set to ultra settings because I wanted to show you guys kind of like the difference in the quality between ultra and low in this game, and I'm really struggling to see any difference being on 1080p and between the quality of like Iron Man's model. If anything, it feels worse to me. So right now I've got the AFMF2, which is the fluid motion frame. So it's an AI software that they have that they just released pretty recently, this new update. And it's pretty awesome. It's getting really good frame generation, so it kind of has a smoother gameplay and stuff like that. And I'm not noticing a ton of latency. I know a lot of people will say that there's a lot of latency in games when you have that mode turned on. I'm really not having any problems with it. So let's go into settings here, and I'm going to lower down because I wanted to do this like on screen with you guys to kind of show you guys what I was talking about. There isn't a frame gen mode in the game. I found that it isn't doing better. I know there's some people that are saying that if there is AMD's, if the game supports this in-game engine, the AMD FSR3 frame gen, use that over the fluid motion frame 2. These acronyms are crazy, but yeah, they're saying to use this over that. When I'm using this, I feel like the stability of it is not nearly as good. So it could just be, anecdotal. It could just be my experience, but I'm not having any better performance with that. So here are my settings though for the game. So I'm going to leave that off, and then I'm going to switch it over to the better settings I feel. So right now I've got the Epic TSR turned on. The super resolution mode is set to performance, anti-aliasing low. You can kind of like go through and see all these settings here yourselves. What I am going to change is this was all set to ultra, and I wasn't seeing any quality differences, like any kind of like particle differences or any effect differences, and it's really kind of crazy. So I'm gonna hit optimize, and it's gonna drop everything down to low, and I'll show you guys the difference between low, and you can see the model almost looks clearer, and it's really surprising to me. But you'll also notice our frames jump way up, obviously, because we're setting on low settings. You can kind of see how fluid everything looks. It's really surprising. And it looks better in person than it does on the camera. I'm running this video at 4K 30 FPS, but the screen itself looks even better. Like I'd say like 50% better if I was to like hazard a guess. Like it looks so much better in person, and it's really kind of hard to articulate on videos, especially like you can see like even the best cameras aren't capturing like how good the screens are when you're holding them in hand. So you guys can see here up at the top left there, the one thing I'm noticing is that there's disparity between the FPS cap trackers. So in game it's saying that we're hitting about 40 to 50 FPS here, but with the AMFF AMF2, sure, let's go with that. It's showing we're hitting about 130, and it's feeling pretty damn smooth, honestly. Like even doing different effects and abilities, like it's still staying pretty high. And I've been playing competitively with this too, and like in the matches with players, and so far it feels really solid. So one of the things too that I also have been doing with the system, and I don't have a Legion Go or any of the other ones like the MSI Claw or anything like that, but this is my first experience doing straight up a Windows handheld. So let me back up a little bit here. So you can see I have it plugged in right now. The reason why I have it plugged in is that when you're plugged in on the Ally X, you can get into a turbo mode and it uses 30 watt power drainage on the battery, but it's, you know, being plugged in, it's a little bit better. But you can actually switch this, so like when you're off that, you can hit 25 watt TDP, which is turbo mode, and you can still get a good couple of hours of game time. Like the battery life on this thing is really fantastic. I haven't had any kind of battery anxiety playing with this device, and it's pretty awesome. Playing in turbo mode 25 watt, you can still see we're still sitting nearly the same we were before. It's a little less, but playing competitively and movement wise, really fluid and fast. You can see there's no real frame dips or anything like that where, you know, it's like a PowerPoint presentation. So honestly, I'm really liking this device more and more. I use it. And then we can kind of flip through the other ones too. So they've got lower settings as well too. There's a silent mode. I would not recommend playing any type of game like a shooter like, you know, Call of Duty or Fortnite. And you could see switching it down to the lowest setting dropped us down to like, we're hitting about 15 because our frame gen counter is saying we're hitting about 30 to 40. So it'll build up a little bit here, but nothing to write home about. So I would not recommend playing games like this that are heavy demanding AAA title games without, you know, switching that up a little higher. And what's cool is like it actively just changes. It's really instant too. The amount of power that changes with this thing, it's really cool. It's not, you know, it doesn't take like you know, reset your game or have to reset the tab or the device itself, which is awesome. This is the performance mode, performance mode. So this is the 17 watt performance mode. And honestly, if you're stuck on your battery all day and you're like at a relative's house, or you just picked up the ROG Ally X and you're trying to, you know, test it out or go on a trip, this mode is still pretty solid. We're showing like, you know, 30 to 40 FPS with the in-game tracker and about 80 to 90 on the other one. So let's see, so even with particles on the screen drops down to about 80, but it's still pretty smooth with that variable refresh rate. I really am liking this a lot. One thing that I can tell you though is it's a nightmare in terms of setting things up and getting things working. It is a Windows computer, Windows 11. There's problems left, right, and center. So if you're wanting to grab one of these, or you're thinking about grabbing one, or versus the Steam Deck is definitely not as powerful, but it's a beautiful machine. And if you're looking to kind of use it with kind of like just more relaxed gameplay, lean towards the Steam Deck. But otherwise, this thing's awesome. I'm going to install Bazzite on this to kind of give you guys my experience on that. Basically turn this into a high-end Steam Deck and upgrade the storage on it. But yeah, so I'm going to jump into a couple of games, regular matches, so hopefully it won't look too terrible, but then we can kind of see what it's like with actual players on screen and what the frame rate's like. I'm going to keep it plugged in because I usually play with it plugged in. I know it's a, you know, portable device and it's supposed to be like unanchored, and that's the whole like appeal of it. But honestly, I use it a lot at home, and I work from home anyway, so this is like, it's usually always near a charger. I've always got a 65 watt charger somewhere, and thank you for somebody else in one of the other videos they caught me when the Steam Deck charger comes with a 45 watt charger, so that's why it wasn't showing the right wattage. So you need a 65 watt charger for it to work in the 30 watt TDP setting for the turbo mode here. So yeah, I'm gonna have it plugged in while we're playing, so I'm gonna give you guys the best case scenario, and that's kind of where I kind of want to show you guys what the gameplay is like with it plugged in. And then it'll be slightly worse with the other two modes, but you can see like I had them plugged in before and it's still really solid. So here, I'm gonna switch over now.